Hey everyone, how y'all doing? My volume okay? Can you hear me? Hey, Cosmic Zord, what is up? Volume good? Need to go up, down? Sweet. Just hang out a little bit, see if people come in so they don't miss anything. Thanks for coming by, you guys. Sure. I will try to do some teaching. The funny thing about stuff like this is there's like a million ways to do it. I'm just going to show you how I do it in Photoshop. I know a lot of people are using Manga Studio or Clip Studio now, and they probably have some brushes and stuff in there that make stuff like this easier. This is the way I do it for the most control. But I'm going to go through all the different ways you can do it in Photoshop too. Oh, sweet. Hey, Steven. I'd like to thank our sponsors, JJ's Red Hots. They're not really our sponsor, but I like them. If you're ever in Charlotte, they have 3 locations. Please check them out. So most of you guys are interested in doing this for comics. I'm gonna I'm gonna probably show you how I do photos, how I do comics, and how I do letters. Hey Mike, it's gonna be on YouTube for free. You won't have to pay, Mike. Yeah. So yeah, if everything goes okay, I'll just export this to YouTube when it's done, and you can watch it there anytime. In case you forget something. Everybody in the chat pretty familiar with Photoshop? Because that's kind of like the bare minimum. I'm not gonna do too much Photoshop explaining, but you can watch what I do and hopefully figure everything out. Sweet. A lot of stuff I've been coloring lately has been coming from Clip Studio. Like a lot of people like that for drawing better than Photoshop. And I know they have some zipatone, halftone effects in there. All right. So this is what I'm trying to replicate. Um, zipatone sheets. So they used to be big 11 by 17 sheets of like sticker with a pattern on it that was clear so you could put it over your black and white art. And they stopped making it for the most part here in the US. Some people still get stuff from Japan by a company called Deleter. And I know some friends have gone over and gotten, big packs of all different colors and, I mean, different patterns, and they use them in their art. I mean, I've seen some old stuff that kind of deteriorates when you use this stuff. It kind of turns yellow. But hey, I don't know. So I was inspired to do this kind of stuff from a lot of old EC comics had cool stuff. This is Bollywood. We can see some different patterns he did used in the tree is just one solid. Looks like here he cut some thin, probably, I don't know, maybe he whited out this area and then put the pattern over top of it. It's fun to try to figure out how they did stuff. This one has like a gradient, like a thicker dot to a lighter pattern out here. And this is Mike Zeck. This is so you can see that pattern's kind of reversed there. And then this is just dots, and these are smaller dots. I used it for the shadows in there. And people use it because if you're doing straight black and white, couldn't really do gray. The printer couldn't understand it, so I would do this that was actually straight black and white, but just achieve the effect of gray. This is Art Adams. And this is on Duotone, which was a board that had, if you used a chemical on it, you brushed it on, and it would give you this pattern in it, which is different from what I'm going to do, the halftone, but it was still, trying to achieve gray in a pure black and white environment. I've never seen Duotone in person. I mean, I've seen art that's done on it, but I've never seen a piece that I could actually play with, and I would like to, but I don't know if I ever will. I don't know how that got in there, but yeah, look at that. That's pretty awesome. Battle Angel Alita, Gunham. Very cool use of tone. All these different patterns. This one's really tight. And this one's all broken up. And this one's like kind of like a photographic. Oh, it's even in there. It's a really tight pattern there. Let's see if we can see it. Kind of fuzzy. All right. And one of my favorites, Gunsmith Cats. Very inspiring work on cars and stuff in this that definitely inspired me and Chris. Um, so that's some stuff that inspired me to figure out how to do this. Um, I'm going to show you some of the stuff I've done in the past with the Zipatone, the halftones. And I'll probably talk a lot about Chris Brunner. Let me try to find his website. I'll put that in the chat. Jared, I'm going to be using, mostly mouse and keyboard. I'll probably do some drawing with Cintiq in a bit. So check out Chris Brunner. He's the main guy I have worked with in comics doing this this method of halftoning. There's a book we did called The Ride. Something that we discovered is that we don't generally like airbrush stuff in color, but when you do it in Zipatone, it it looks pretty cool. So I'll show you how to do that. That's another page from that. That's another page from that. Like this stuff with the lady behind the shower curtain, kind of like a transparent effect just by using different dot patterns. Completely knocking out stuff into gray so it fades into the background. This is the series we did called Loose Ends. It's one of the covers. It's all dots. It's from that same book, Loose Ends, using the dot pattern with color. Actually turning the black art into color. I'll show you how to do that. Same thing here. It's from Loose Ends too. Here's a better look at one of those. So all the line art is turned to color. Okay, this is just using some splotchy paint stuff I did and then turned it into dots and put it behind this figure for Corey Walker's sketchbook. This is another thing with me and Chris Brunner did for Marvel. It's called X-Men and Wolverine and the X-Men, I think it was. So this was all the Zipatone stuff, and then we turned that into color. And if you have any questions while I'm going through this stuff, go ahead and put them in there. If I don't get to them while we're going through it, I'll get to them all at the end. It's another thing I did with Chris. So this one is something I'm going to probably show you is just laying down a pattern and then, cutting away stuff for light effects. Kind of mimicking something people used to do with actual Zipatone, and they would cut it away with a razor blade. And this is some of the photographic stuff I do where I will take a photo and draw around it to get it how I want it, and then turn it into dots so it'll print just straight one color ink if I'm doing screen printing. Same thing here. She's all halftone dots, and then a pattern with some weathering on the background. I'll show you how to do that. And that's another t-shirt design I did. It's Marilyn Monroe doc. She will be available soon. This is the latest photo shirt I did, Kylo Ren Jepsen. And then I will also show you how to do some, type treatment using Zipatone. This was a cover I did with Sanford Green. Trying to use Zipatone to give, a weathered classic comic appearance with the new stuff popping out in front. And I think that's it. If y'all are ready, we can get going. So do you want to start with type, or like a comic drawing, or a photo? Thanks, Fred. I based my method on something a friend taught me. He worked at a comic shop I went to in Maryland called Collector's Crypt, which later turned into Liberty Books, which later turned into Big Planet Comics. And his name is John Staten. He does a comic called DMV, which is kind of like futuristic manga Department of Motor Vehicles. Check him out. I don't know if he's updated that DeviantArt in a while, but he's a very good artist, and he was the one who kind of planted the seed to do halftones in Photoshop, I don't know, 15 years ago or something. So I just wanted to give him a shout out because he got me on this road. Okay, the easiest one. Oh no, photos. All right, so like I said, airbrush stuff, I don't usually love it in comic art, but if you're doing Zipatone, like, it will just turn into tiny little dots gradually, so it looks pretty cool. So I'm just going to kind of roughly cut him out. And then I am going to feather the edges so it kind of fades like that airbrush effect. Let's see what that looks like. So yeah, now he's got like a soft glow around him. And if you want to do any changes to the art, the photo you have before you turn into dots, you need to do that first. Like add some more light to the eyes. That didn't work. And then you are just going to, this is what we're going to do every time. Sometimes we'll copy it into a new document. Sometimes we'll just do it right in this one. We're going to turn it into a bitmap. You usually want to work at the same resolution you are trying to finish with. So it looks like this one is 300 dpi, so that's what I'm going to do. Now we want to select halftone screen. Okay, now here's the part where you can have ultimate control with what you are doing. 45 degree is, 45-degree angle. It's just like in, geometry. Frequency is where you can make the dots smaller or larger by how many are going per line. So, I don't know, let's see if we want it to be really tight. We can make it 65. And when I do this, it'll probably end up just looking exactly like this photo if you're not zoomed in on it. Round is the shape we want for the dots. See, you can do diamond, ellipse, square, cross. Crosses are cool, but I always do these. So this one's like what you would see in a newspaper, like super tight. It's pure black and white. You can blow it up pretty much as big as you want. I usually don't use such a high frequency because I want people to see that it's dots and I didn't just use a photo. So same stuff here. Take the frequency way down. Let's take it way down and see what it does. Like, we'll lose a lot of detail. You might not even be able to tell who it is, but it will be interesting to see. Like I said, it's for real. But from far away, you could still see who that was. But when you get right up on it, it's like a Monet. So what I would probably really do for this is 25 or around there. I think that will be a nice in between. So something that is useful for, what I use it for is like I'll composite an image, grab a head from something, grab a body from something, and once you put it all together, it's not going to look the same if you just have it, if you don't paint over it. But if you turn into halftones, it'll all match up. And that's how I did those shirts. Like that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. So that's all dots too, so it'll print just straight white on black. All right. All right, let's mess with type. So this is what I did on my logo. Just the only thing that's dots on this is that gradient coming up from the bottom. So I'll show you how to do that. If you have your type and it's not already rasterized, go ahead and do that. My type is already rasterized. Grab your gradient tool. Do a straight white to black if you want, or if you don't want it to go all the way to black, do a gray. You could do 2 grays. But if you want the most dramatic effect, it's just going to be straight black to white. And then just drag your gradient, from the bottom, from the top, however you want. I don't know what look you're trying to achieve, but I'm going to copy all that. I'm going to make a new document. It's going to automatically be the same size as what I just copied. I'm going to put it in there. And I am going to do the same thing I did on the photo. Image mode bitmap 300. Let's put the frequency down to 20 on this one. Okay, so this is pure black and white. When you bitmap an image, it is taking all the color information out of it. You can't use your magic wand anymore. So you gotta turn it back to grayscale. But this is still pure black and white. No aliasing or anything, so you can grab it with the magic wand once you turn it back to grayscale. And we can go back to our letter, drop it on top, line it up, take the old gradient out. Oh, you know what I did? Cut my letters out. I can fix this. Okay. So I'm going to line those up. It's probably close enough. And now, see this little guy right here that looks like the Purina dog food logo? I don't know what it is. Oh, lock transparent pixels. Select that. And once you lock the transparent pixels, you can, let's turn this into a color image. Merge. Once you have locked the transparent pixels, you can take a brush and paint right on that color. Ooh. I do the same thing with the underlayer. Hit the little Purina guy and paint that one too. Let's duplicate it one more time. Bring it up to the top. And I'm going to make an outline out of this. Uh-oh. When I turned it to color, it stopped selecting cleanly. Let's contract. Select modify contract by 10 pixels sounds good. Ooh. Okay, so now you got that. You can hit the, oh, sorry, I use the keyboard shortcut. Control U will pull up your hue saturation. Or you can go to image adjustments, hue saturation, and change your colors. Oh, that's cool. We could also color that top layer that we put on there if we hit the Purina guy. I'll never remember what this is called. What's it called? Lock transparent pixels. Lock transparent pixels. That sounds so fancy. These transparent pixels are locked, you guys. You see, it looks like I missed a little bit. Nah, I guess it's okay. Yeah, totally missed. No, okay. Let's see what that looks like on black. Whoa, it's cool. I like it. All right. So you guys remember all the stuff we did there? Everybody caught up? Eric, what is up? All right, so we did the letters. Oh, another thing I can show you on here is that thing we did on that storm poster was kind of weathering this up. So once you have your gradient, you can take off your Purina button, lock transparent pixels button, and put your pencil on clear and just start scratching it up. Very punk rock. Scratching, super punk rock, you guys. You can get one of those like super dirty Kyle Webster brushes and scratch it up. It'll look super cool, I promise. All right. Too much scratching. Okay. Let's turn our background back to white so we can get on with the business of doing this for comics. Thanks for coming by, you guys. So far, we have done photos and letters. Uh, you know, putting zip-a-tone on your type makes it look super old school. So now I'm gonna show you some comic stuff, and this will probably be the last thing we do. So we got a Spider-Man drawing by Art Adams. Something I love about Art Adams Spider-Man is he frequently draws the toes. What? So good. So good. And I have the line art isolated here. No white already cut out just for you guys for this demo. And I have already done a gray tone thing here. So just like with painting, value is important. So same thing with halftones. If you don't have values that are far enough apart, it's all gonna look like mud. So let's see what I got here. I got this guy, I got this guy. So I just have two values in there besides the black and white, which is 4 values. If you're doing math, I'm not doing math because, yeah, why would I? But anyway, let's see what we got. This guy, he's in color, huh? I'm gonna go back because I don't want this to be in color. Yep. All right. Oh, hey, dude. All right. Let's put those back over there. I got that guy, and I got that guy. So we have that guy. So we have white, light gray, dark gray, black. Really figured this would be actual make that one 25. And this one will be pure black 60. Sure. 60. Okay, so this one is 25% black. And this guy is 60% black. This guy, 100% black. Okay, penmanship doesn't count. All right, and so take that out of there. So what I'm going to do is take this gray layer and I'm going to copy it into a new document. I'm going to turn this into a bitmap. So mode, bitmap, flatten the layers. We're going to do that halftone screen, just like we did before. Same DPI. See what that looks like. Too low of a frequency. Do 25. Too low. 35. Yeah, that's good. Okay, we're gonna have to turn that back to grayscale so we can magic wand it. If we don't want to put that whole thing in there. Copy it out of here. Put it back in here. Take out those grays. So that's what that would look like. So like I said, I mean, there's a lot of methods to do this. You could do grab something, select the area, and fill it with a pattern. I got all these dot patterns a long time ago. Not sure. I remember who I got them from. Like EJ Sue. He did Tech Jacket. I know he put some dots and screens up online. I can't remember if these are his or not, but it was hard to tell what you were doing because these kind of look the same. But you could just do fill patterns like that. The other thing you can do is Kyle Webster. I don't know what version of Photoshop you're working on. I think I am in CS6 on this machine. Yep. All his stuff is free on CC now. I have his old brushes. Halftones. There we go. So they're the same type of thing. You know, they're 45-degree angle dots. They respond to pressure. So here he has Kyle 45 big, Kyle 45 medium, small and tiny. So you can see You don't have quite as much control. I don't. Maybe you do. Maybe you're like super awesome with Cintiq. So if you press lightly, you get really fine dots, and as you press harder, they get tighter. And I can't really get a smooth gradient. And I've used them for like background effects and stuff like that. It's just quicker than my method, but I couldn't render a figure with them personally. And did you see how long they took to draw? Let's see. So I made the stroke and then they drew for a few minutes after. I don't know. My computer's pretty fast. Something else I told you guys was cool is doing gradients and stuff like that with dots. They don't look as cheesy as like airbrush stuff. So let me see here. I have some cloud brushes. Set to this level. Right. So I'm going to take those, make a new document, paste them in there, and bitmap. Let's make them like super low frequency so they look real dotty behind them. Switch it back to grayscale. Like I mainly use this stuff for screen printing. I use it a little bit for comics. Yeah, I like that. I like the way that looks. Let's try something else. Let's do select Spidey, and let's put some airbrush stuff on him. Try to make that finger pop off. Let's go in with that dark tone with the airbrush. Some volume in here. Kind of popped his hand off. Hey Dan, welcome to the stream. With that light gray on his bottom. Still not getting that hand off of there. A little darker. Like I said, I don't usually use airbrush in Photoshop to render too much, except when I'm doing this, because when I change it to a halftone pattern, it looks nice. All right. Okay, just for fun, let's put a gradient behind him or something. Hey, let's put a city behind him. Probably won't be in the right perspective or anything, but it's something you can sometimes get away with. With a city because it won't look as photo-y if you break it down pretty good with dots. I'm not liking any of these photos. Alright, I will just draw something. Make the light come from there. Backwards. There. Too dark. There. Alright. I'm going to copy that gray layer to a new document. And that's what we got now. Yucky airbrush. Show you how sloppy I am. But when we turn it into a halftone, it will probably not look as bad. Hopefully. Do it tighter. Yeah, 40. That's good. Turn it back to grayscale. Okay. Grab it. See if I got the dots or the white. I can't tell. I guess we'll know in a second, right? Oh yeah. Yeah, I like it. Hmm? Hmm? It's kind of sloppy in there, but the hand is finally popping off. The white looks great on the zip. Take a close look. All right, and I guess I want to show you that other thing I was talking about where we went from this to this. So turning your line art to color is the same thing as turning your dots to color. Make sure your image is in a mode that accepts color, not grayscale. Let's make Spidey purple. Sure. Why not? Come on, Spidey. Hit the Purina logo. Bam, Spidey's yellow. Oh, purple. Oh, we still have our airbrush. Oh, that's no good. Okay, that's not going to be dark enough. That needs to be way darker. If you watch a lot of my streams, you'll realize that trial and error is my main method of doing everything. Let's see if I can get just the red stuff and turn that into a color. I believe in myself. Oh, I think I did it. And of course I'm not going to use red. Oh, guys. No, forgot to hit the Purina. Don't forget that. Oh no. I forgot we made everything gradient, so I'm going to have to do this by hand. Please, Arthur Adams, forgive me. Forgive me for what I'm doing to your Spider-Man. Oh, I love the toes. Toe Boot Spider-Man should be canon. Whoops. Kyle, I will give you a private demo. It's my good friend Kyle Starks. He's in Mexico, but next week, Kyle Starks and I will both be in South Carolina at the SC Comic Con. So if you are in the area, please come see us. And this weekend, I will be at NC Comic Con in Raleigh. So if you're in that area, come see me there. This is weird. Um, all right. This looks too punk rock even for me. I need to make that clean. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's add another layer. Yeah, you know, we could just turn this whole layer color too. We hit the little dot. Purina dog food logo. Whoa. Yeah. Oh, let's isolate my white areas first. Duh, wrong way. Inverse. Inverse. Whoa, weird. Alright, I'm just messing around, you guys. If you have questions, put them over there and I will answer them. Where is that? Sorry for what I did to you, Spider-Man. This is too weird. All right, let me catch up on the chat. Mike sort of asked if I would put these in separate layers and nudge them to simulate off-register plates. I have done that. Um, when I do that, I will actually make each layer just pure C, M, Y, or K, and then scoot them around. Fred asked, do characters have strict predetermined color tones? Um, it's surprising how rare I actually get refs sent to me by an editor. Um, so sometimes they have their colors. I rarely use local colors, so that's kind of out the window. All right, I think we can wrap it up then, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I hope some of this was useful. And if you have any questions, always hit me up on Instagram, who is Rico, there, Twitter, who is Rico, nolongermint.com. If you're in South Carolina or North Carolina, this weekend I'll be at North Carolina Comic Con in Raleigh, and next weekend I will be in Greenville, South Carolina at the South Carolina Comic Con. I hope to see some of you there. Good night. Thanks for hanging out.